Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Jay here. Wow, man, if you are a Palantir investor, congratulations. They have went parabolic after reporting earnings a couple days ago from the $15 range up into approaching $19 per share. Whoo! I want to show you guys an interview from CNBC. Alex Karp makes some comments to them talking about his stance on Israel and supporting Israel, and also talking about a potential S&P 500 inclusion and getting into that SPY ETF, which is very important to him. I'm very proud of this company. They beat on revenue, very small, and they also beat on EPS by 1 cent. They were expected to do 6 cents and did 7 cents of EPS. So this company's coming in right in line with Wall Street's estimates, which is always good because in this current environment, if you miss Wall Street's estimate, you're going to get punished with terrible losses in your stock price. But all right, let's check out this interview and I'll give you my thoughts after it's over.
Right now, after a beat on the top line and a beat on the bottom line, profit was 7 cents compared to the estimates of 6 cents per share. You can see shares are up just about 5% right now. Current quarter guidance also basically in line. This is also Palantir's fourth quarter of profitability, qualifying it for inclusion in the S&P 500. CEO Alex Karp, he told me yesterday it's very important to him because it makes the company more accessible and also widely held, as it would then be included in the SPY ETF. Karp also says that Palantir continues to work with the U.S. government, emphasized his support for Israel, and confirmed that Palantir works with the Israeli government. He added this about demand and outreach from governments. He said the rise in terrorism, it brings security to the forefront for America and its allies. The only way to effectively and ethically deal with terrorism in combat is to use software. Again, those are Alex Karp's words. Outside of government work, commercial is also the focus. U.S. commercial revenue, that jumped by 33%. Karp said he expects Palantir to be a major player in nearshoring and precision manufacturing, saying in part, "We are now helping manufacturers bring manufacturing they would have done in Asia back to America, because with our product, you can build a factory in America just like it's built in Asia." Again, Palantir shares moving higher after a beat on the bottom line and the top line. Fourth quarter of profitability in a row, allowing it inclusion in the S&P 500. One other note, Alex Karp's at the UK AI Summit today. He says Senator Schumer's office has also reached out about another meeting with U.S. companies on U.S. AI regulation. Back over to you.
Frank, it is a big switch for this company, because for a very long time, people were worried about, whether they were going to continue to lose money. This Absolutely. Has been, as you said, now 4 quarters of it. But I was really struck by that last sentence in that letter that he wrote. You mentioned it, but just to detail it, he says, "We are one of a few companies in the world to stand up and announce our support for Israel, which remains steadfast. Palantir stands with Israel," which is a very different remark and comment than a lot of other CEOs in the West. Some have condemned Hamas, but very few have actually come out publicly and said they support Israel as a country. Right. Of course, Palantir, run by Alex Karp, but backed by Peter Thiel and so many others.
Well, you can imagine that Palantir is not doing business with Hamas, and helping them.
That's for sure.
Well, I just want to be clear. Alex Karp made it clear that they work with the Israeli government, and he is steadfastly standing by Israel. And he made it very clear in his statement to me that he considers Hamas a terror group, as does the U.S. government, to be clear. But
what makes it so interesting is they also work with governments around the world, some of whom historically have been considered allies of America, except that they, at this particular juncture and moment, some of them are not supportive necessarily of what Israel is doing or of supporting Israel per se, right? I mean, I think we've seen a number of U.S. allies not be allied on this particular issue. And so it's a very interesting thing for him to come out as publicly as he has.
Some of my biggest takeaways from this interview is obviously the S&P 500 inclusion. 4 straight quarters of profitability now makes Palantir eligible to be included in the S&P 500, which is amazing. It's not just the SPY ETF, guys. It's dozens upon dozens of ETFs that now can get some exposure to Palantir if they are included in the S&P 500. You got to love the revenue beats. You got to love the EPS beats. They are small, but during this crazy time the world is in right now, those numbers coming in line are quite remarkable. And Alex Karp coming out and supporting Israel is big for the community, because our software Palantir software is the best software in the world. And if we want to support, as Americans, our allies, giving them access to things like Palantir software will help them in their fight against terrorism. The Israel-Palestine conflict is very, very complicated. There are wrongdoings on both sides, but terrorism cannot be tolerated. So that's why Alex Karp and the United States government is siding with Israel in this particular conflict. I hope there's a resolution to that sooner rather than later, because another war in the Middle East is not what the world needs moving forward. But I think Alex Karp really wants peace. Alex Karp wants peace more than anything, and I think his software will help us get there quicker than without it. So I am supporting Alex Karp and Palantir in their mission to end these wars as soon as possible. And as an investor, I couldn't be happier with the team's execution, and that commercial up 33% year over year. That's great. They're getting the government contracts. They're expanding commercial contracts. That's all we can ask for as investor guys. I hope you liked this video. I hope you guys learned some stuff about what Alex Karp is doing right now. So let me know in the comments below. Do you support Alex Karp and his vision for Palantir? Let me know in the comments below.